Hey, good morning. Um, so here we are. um, Good morning. A couple of things have happened this morning, and been in conversation with a few people, and I forget the struggle that we have sometimes when we're lost in the self. We're lost in the world of thought, and I forget that the common thing that people tell us sometimes is, "Oh, you must love yourself. You have to love yourself." And when I ask, and I mean I asked the question most of my adult life, "Who am I? Who's the self? Who is the self that you want to love?" And hardly anybody can answer. And there's a there's a, yeah, hardly anybody can answer. Who is the self? What do you mean, who is the self? I am me. Well, who is me? Well, I am David. I'm a man. Well, you know, and eventually we'll come to, I don't know. I don't know who I am. And hi, Cammie. Welcome back, my love. So we're stuck in this illusion of trying to often fix ourselves, and we don't know who we are. We just have no friggin' idea. Ask the question, who am I? And because if your solution to the troubled mind, to the restless, irritable discontent, to the anger, to the fear, to the grief, to the sadness, to the self-pity is I must love myself, if that's your solution, then who are you? Ask. And spend some time on that. Who am I? Because when going deep into who am I can be a path to self-discovery and self-realization. We can find that and I'm not going to go too far with this because I'm encouraging you to do it. Spend some time. Who am I? Am I, a bag full of stories? This is who I am. This is what's happened to me. This is what I've done. That's who I am. Am I, a bag full of accomplishments? So who am I? Ask the question. I think most of us will agree that often we're troubled. We're like, oh, this is happening and that's happening, and we want the world to behave, and we're trying to manage, people, places, and situations around us because we're troubled, but we don't know who we are, and we really don't know where we're going, and we don't know what we want. There's another question: what do I want? And where am I going? If you ask these questions and go deep into them, it comes to this, it comes to an empty space. And the empty space is where the answer is. And so if we call it God or we call it now, but most of us don't live there. We don't want to go there, so we busy ourselves. We create dramas to keep ourselves busy because we're afraid. We're afraid to go there. But that's where the answer is. That's where peace is. That's where love is in go down that road to who am I? Where am I going? Why am I here? And love is there. Love is like, oh, it's like, we move into a whole new operating system of an operating system of love, of God, of peace, but just recognize that we're very identified with our story. That you think you are who you think you are, and because you think you are who you think you are, then in your mind that's who you are. But let's ask, who are you? Tell me who I am. Ask the question over and over again. Write it on the friggin' mirror. Who am I? Who am I? Look. Because if what you want, if you think the answer is in, I must love myself, then who is myself? Always, who am I? And it's okay, you know, you won't disappear. You know, there'll still be, you know, Cammie will still be there, and Debbie will still be there. It's just, it'll be from a different foundation. Okay? So, that's my little message for today. Excuse me. Isn't this funny? We're in this time with this little virus thing that's happening around the planet, which is not a big deal. Just, you know, it's life. It's we get pretty excited and caught in the drama of that too, right? We're like, oh my gosh, and so if we get a little cough, like I have a bit of a congestion. This morning, I went for a big ride on my motorcycle yesterday, and you know, wow, it was beautiful, you know. And for me, that's the motorcycle. Actually, is a bit of a story. I remember that was part of my identity at one time. You know, it was like, you know, I was kind of a biker, and that was my identity. We assume different identities, and because we don't know who we are. Now, when I go for a ride on the bike, I just love going for a ride on the bike, and it's a, you know, I mean, it's a beautiful old 98 Harley, and yeah, that's it. Just for a ride on the bike. It's not who I am. It's just what I might be doing in the moment. This that we're doing right now is not who I am. This is just, you know, feels like, you know, at one level it doesn't really mean anything. And when we attach meaning to things, then we become attached to them. You know, we give them power. And it's all, if we can learn to pause, stay calm, breathe, and we find freedom in life. It's beautiful. Okay, I'm going to read. This is, what day is it? The 7th of December. I think I'm going to go for a ride today, too. It's beautiful here in Calgary. 7th of December. There we go. And I read from this little book every day called the 24-Hour Day Book because, you know, a lot of the people that, you know, that I'm hoping to, or I think that is my audience, is my people in my 12-step community. And if you're not in the 12-step community, if you're not in AA or NA or CA, it doesn't matter. This pathway to awakening is there for everybody and is available to everybody. So the 12 steps are not exclusive to people with an addiction, you know, unless we recognize that we all have addiction. We're addicted to our identity. We're addicted to our story. We're addicted to drama, right? We're addicted to problems. Oh my gosh, we can't even sit for a couple of minutes because we have so much going on, so crazy. We're addicted to our crazy thinking. Yeah? So maybe we're all addicted. And freedom comes from finding this, one is from self-realization. We recognize that at one side of things that we've been living in a crazy mind that's always judging, that's always making things right or wrong or good or bad. And so we're living in that mind, fear and self-centeredness and self-pity, and that's who we've been. That's the life of drama. Or we can have what I call a God consciousness, where we're like, wow, recognizing in each moment that we are part of the divine, that we are living in the divine. And everything calms down then. It's like, oh, wow, it's beautiful. And it is beautiful. All right. And I'm going to read this to December the 7th. The man, because this was written in 1948, and it was very patriarchal. So, recognize that. It was written a long time ago. A man comes to the 12-step world after having a slip. He comes back to AA. The temptation is strong to say nothing about it. No other AA member should force him to declare himself. It's entirely up to him. If he is well grounded in AA, he will realize that it's up to him to get up on his feet in the next meeting and tell about his slip. There's no possible envision of this duty. There's no possible evasion of this duty if he is thoroughly honest and really desirous of living the AA way of life. When he has done it, his old confidence returns. He is home again. His slip should not be mentioned again by others. He is again a good member of AA. Am I tolerant of other people's mistakes? So he calls them mistakes, and I don't call them mistakes. I think that the word mistake is a judgment, and it's like a we don't make mistakes. This is our life. Meditation for the day. It is in the union of a soul with God that strength, new life, and spiritual power come. So yes. Sometimes the word soul is confusing, right? Of course they get to come back, yes. So sometimes he talks about soul, and we use spiritual terms in the 12-step world, and he says, it is in the union of a soul with God that strength, new life, and spiritual power come. So yes, and what is the soul? In a way, you are the soul. I am the soul, and there's it's not separate from you or me, and that's the sometimes the difficult with the concept of God is that the difficulty of the concept of God is that we think it's separate. And we think the soul is separate because we think we are our story. We think we are our ego, so we are separate when we're living in this illusion of I am my problems, I am my accomplishments, I am my drama. And anyway, bread sustains the body, but we cannot live by bread alone. To try to do the will of God is the meat and support of true living. We find on the spiritual food, we feed on that spiritual food. Soul starvation comes from failing to do so. The world talks about bodies that are undernourished. What of the souls that are undernourished? Strength and peace come from partaking of spiritual food. So there's no of course, when we're living, grossly self-centered, we are cut off from the supply, from the spiritual strength that he calls spiritual food. It's beautiful. I pray that I may not try to live by bread alone. I pray that my spirit may live by trying to do the will of God as I understand it. Beautiful. 1948, that was written, and it's, it's an interesting, sometimes he just nails it, and it's beautiful. So we're going to meditate for a couple of minutes, and I'm going to ask you to join if you'd like. And so the whole idea of having a meditation together is to sit, to find that moment, to just sit, just to watch, if you will, but not with any intent. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to get. There's no next. You know, ego wants to know, why are we doing this? Where's it going? Who will you become? Just let those questions fall away. Just let those questions fall away. So close your eyes. It's only going to be for 5 or 7 minutes, okay? Just close your eyes and drop in. Be in the breath. Use the breath. I do. Breathing just kind of brings me into the moment, and my body is totally relaxes. Yes. So just feel your body and make sure that your back is supported and your feet are flat on the floor, unless you're sitting cross-legged. I don't find that laying down is the best way, but this is us just practicing a meditation, and finding that that spot inside of us, that empty space, that that door into now. To let go of our thoughts, just recognize that thoughts are not us, that our mind and the story is not us. We are so much more than that. The story is not us. We are more than that, and of course we're not that. We're less than that. The story is ego's attempt to figure out who we are, to fill in the space. So just leave the story out today. Just leave the belief systems out today. Just leave the concepts out today. Just be here, empty, if possible. Be empty in this moment. Nothing needs to be done. Nothing is missing. So if thoughts come up, just let them go. If we hear sounds, just include them. They are part of what is now. Just come back when you're ready. Just drop back in. Wow. So, just a little rehash. If we believe the answer is in loving ourselves, then who are we? Tell me who you are. And I love that people make comments. If you have, rather than thank you, David, just share what's happening for you. Make a comment, say something other than, or ask a question. I'd appreciate that. I'd also love it if you subscribe to the YouTube page. We're kind of building YouTube, and it's a bit of a project, so I'd love it if you'd subscribe to YouTube. Battling Beyond, Project Awakening. Thank you. And tonight, around 7, we're going to do a kind of a meditation on Zoom. So join us tonight, 7 o'clock, Zoom, but also be on Facebook and YouTube Live. Okay, thanks so much. Love you, love you.